Okay, explaining that the law criminalizing the gamecock industry is unconstitutional. One question that people need to ask, I mean, just straight off, is the duty of the government to go out and make raids, rip families apart, point guns at, and create situations where government agents may hurt, cripple, or kill a human being? I mean, literally, farmers and ranchers. The job of the government is to potentially kill the farmer to protect the animal that the farmers own. These laws that are tied to these animal rights groups are based on communism. They violate the first, the fourth, the fifth, the eighth, the ninth, the 10th, by and through the 14th Amendment. They violate both concepts of the First Amendment. The First Amendment is to protect our God-given rights of each individual, or the Constitution is to protect the God-given rights of each individual. The First Amendment is protects the God-given, our free exercise of religion. Well, as a Christian, in the Christian Bible, it says God gave man dominion, meaning control and rule over the animals, earth, fish, and fowl. So when my free exercise of religion is exercising the dominion that God gave me over the animals I own. No other man has the authority to supersede God and take that dominion away from me using the excuse that the animals I own take priority above my human rights. But it also violates the First Amendment because it is a government attempt to adopt respect for the pagan religion. See, the First Amendment says that the government cannot enact laws respecting the establishment of religion. Also, and the pagan or the animal rights laws, like the cockfighting law, are all based on paganism. The Pagan Federation International says paganism is a nature worshiping religion. Well, nature is not just this global warming, global cooling, and climate change stuff. Nature includes animals. So your animal rights laws are literally an attempt by the government to adopt laws respecting the establishment of the pagan religion. And people need to be very, very aware of that and very afraid of that. The Adolf Hitler used the same type of animal rights laws in Nazi Germany to destroy human rights and force communism on the people of Germany, or socialism on the people of Germany. But socialism has to be enforced. And when you enforce socialism, you do it through communist control mechanisms. See, all of this is tied to a program called United Nations Agenda 21. It is a plan by the United Nations to have every government around the world implement policies of communism. And excuse me, the Humane Society of the United States is pushing this agenda. It's, along with the ASPCA and PETA and all of these animal rights organizations, Shark, etc. But all of these organizations are NGOs, non-government organizations, and they are either intentionally supporting communism or they're ignorantly supporting communism. To give you an understanding of how it all works, Norman Dodd was a congressional investigator. He was appointed to the Reese Commission. He was the chairman of the Reese Commission. As the chairman of the Reese Commission, his job was to go out and investigate all of the non-government organizations across America, the nonprofits. He came back and reported to Congress that nearly every nonprofit organization created in America since at least 1954, was created for the purpose of forcing communism on the people of the United States. Well, the Humane Society of the United States was created in 1954. It was created by a guy named Fred Meyer. Fred Meyer was called in front of Congress where he had to testify in 1956 for his known ties to 3 communist organizations. The first auditor of the Humane Society of the United States was a guy named David Weingard. And David Weingard and Fred Meyer were both very prominent leaders within an organization called the Russian War Relief. And even the federal government acknowledges that the Russian War Relief is a known KGB front. See, the Humane Society of the United States and its sister organization, the ASPCA, and the offshoot PETA, all of these organizations were created as propaganda arms for communism. There is a couple of research papers that need to be looked at, or a research paper, published by Boreas Sachs and Arnold Arluke, 2 college professors. In this research paper, they acknowledge and state openly that the Nazis enacted animal rights laws to reduce man to the status of an animal, thereby allowing the government to treat some segments of society like animals. See, that's why they could go out and euthanize 6 million Jewish people, because Adolf Hitler was culling the government herd of those people that he considered inferior animals. In 1961, John F. Kennedy warned about the globalists behind this in a speech he gave called the Secret Society speech. You can find that online also. He was talked about we are opposed around the world, and he was talking about this globalist effort, this global communist effort. And Ronald Reagan in 1964 gave a speech called A Time for Choosing, where he tried to explain the policies that were being pushed by this globalist effort, where the speech was called A Time for Choosing. And in that speech, Reagan stated that the federal government was petitioning for the right to imprison farmers and ranchers. And the government wanted to remove 2 million farmers and ranchers from the soil. Well, he was talking about the imprisoning farmers for not adhering to the policies and keeping the books as prescribed by the government. But the secondary way that you imprison a farmer is the government enacts animal rights laws, and then you imprison the farmer for violating the rights that the government gave to the animals. And Reagan gave that speech in 1964, and 2 years later, in 1966, Congress passed the Animal Welfare Act, giving animals rights. This is what's going on. As I go on through this and post different segments of this, this is the First Amendment argument that I'm explaining. But in future episodes and in videos, I'm going to explain how the law violates the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the Eighth Amendment, the Ninth Amendment, the 10th Amendment, by and through the 14th Amendment. I appreciate your time. Please share this video with everyone you know, because it's the only way we can stop this communist agenda.